Okay, cool. Well, thank you so much, Henrik, for drawing the last pose. Tsuki's gonna pose in the same outfit, but a little bit different this time. So we already kind of briefly talked about a Terminator-related prompt that we could give to Lucas. Do you have any more specific suggestions? Because I think you're quite versed in the Terminator thing.
Yes, I am. And Terminator 2 is one of the best movies ever produced. And I really like the T-1000. That's all I'm saying.
The T-1000. Shit.
Is it the one that's hunting him in the car?
Yes, that's him.
Okay, so yeah, I guess
Still
the...
don't know how he looks, but...
That's fine. I think we're just gonna go with like a Terminator vibe.
Alright.
And if you, like, watching at home can include the T-1000, then please do and show us later. Awesome. Well, yeah, Henrik, you've been a professional artist for like, what, 20 years about or something like that?
Yeah.
Kind of. So, yeah, my main question is, or like my first question would be, like, what's the difference looking back at like the like 20 years younger Henrik to like the Henrik now doing art? Is it still like the same things that push you to do art, or has that changed over the years?
I think it never changed. What happened is that you forgot about it.
Oh snap.
And what caused it was basically life. And I mean, if you're young and very passionate about to get into art, and I was about 16 when I discovered conceptart.org.
Right.
And a friend of mine showed it to me and like, wow, this is a whole new like portal to a new dimension opened up basically. And I saw these sketchbooks by really talented guys, and it really pushes some buttons when you're young and basically you want to get out there, right? And you want to do what they do, and they featured several artists there on the forum. So at that time it was the go-to place, basically kind of you could say ArtStation, what ArtStation is now. Conceptart.org was back then. So it did a lot to motivate me to draw and paint a lot, which I did. And so difference to now would be to connect back to these roots. And having had the company for now 12 years, there were many things I had to do or get into I never dreamed about to get into, like management tasks. So very artist unfriendly places, but you gotta do that to kind of build something up, and now I'm in a position to finally get back to this and actually pick up where I left off.
But even when you were involved with like the more management side of your company, like Character Studios in Berlin, you still did the drawing like in your free time, right?
Yeah, as much as I could, but it kind of kills your drive or energy for it. When you come home after a full day and then you rarely pick up the sketchbook and then, okay, I'm doing art now. What you guys also talked about earlier, that like be creative, like on demand is it's very difficult, and it's more like you make a habit out of a certain style or a certain ability that you can then market and have a job with this, because you know you can deliver with this certain type of product you can sell. So, and I think there comes a time when you're about like 18, 19, 20 and you grow up, you're still adolescent, but you know, okay, how can I make a living of this? Then you just have to decide on certain principles that just kind of pay the bills, and so your hobby becomes a job, and that's where it really changes. And it's good to then connect with your roots again, or what Greg Mullen said, like in this workshop a long time ago, to actually really schedule sandbox time during the week, so you can be experimental, and you can make a lot of mistakes, and you can widen your horizon to discover new things. Otherwise, you might end up being stuck after years and years, and you don't know what's happening, and just it's not the same anymore as what got you into it.
Yeah.
But it's simply that you're not playful anymore.
For sure. I mean, yeah, what you said, I think is... we have about 10 minutes left just for you guys drawing. So when you're like young and you get into drawing, everything's new and there's like so much to learn, and at a certain point you're like, okay, I need to make this my job, I need to make a living out of it, and then you kind of break it down, like all the creative bunch that used to be like your drawing experience, you like narrow it to fit a certain, I don't know, style or thing that you think is marketable, like you said, and then you kind of have to almost work against being stuck at only like this process that kind of makes sense for you in that way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pretty much, but you gotta kind of run into this by yourself, because many people can tell you about this. You should watch out for this and this. And as always, if you don't have the sensation for yourself, you can really feel it for yourself because it's happening to yourself. It's real in your world. Then you're like, yeah, okay, I heard this, but blah, blah, blah. You keep doing your thing.
Yep.
And but then you crash. You may crash at some point, and then that's where you realize, okay, it's not the same anymore, and I gotta change something about it to still be inspired and have fun, and really have fun with it. In the end, that's why we got into it.
Right.
So.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, that's kind of the thing, like you have to make your own mistakes and people can tell you all kinds of stuff, but in the end you have to be the one that touches the fire at least once to like recognize, it's literally hot.
And don't shy away from it. You know, I think it's definitely good to make mistakes and then learn from it, and it's all about it's not about what happens to you, it's more about what you do with it, and to get up again and then keep doing so. This turns more and more into like a life motivation
like
thing,
a pep talk thing. But actually that ties in, like, because the thing that I asked Bayar, I'm really interested to hear you talk about it as well, because I know that you're like into philosophy and like thinking a lot about like the things behind the things that we can see. So like where would you see like the position of the artist basically in our current society? Because Bayar and I talked about that it's, for Drink and Draw at least, like about the communal aspect of like connecting like-minded people, and like basically with the message that like connections, human interaction and connection is what it all kind of ends up being for. So what is your take on art and the artist in our society?
It's basically, I mean, art itself, personally, I think there's a lot of stuff that's quite overrated in it. That just the term creative is like widely used and basically tossed out whenever felt like. And but what does it mean really? What does art mean? It's visual storytelling to me. And if you're good at this, then you can provide entertainment for others, and especially an escape for other people, probably especially during times like this, that people see the world outside there, and then they come home and then they can go into worlds that artists envision that are ultimately a relief for them, and they can reflect and contrast what's out there and dive into it. So I think there's a lot of responsibility for artists now, possibly more than ever. And like you said, I think it has a lot to do with psychology in the very end.
For sure.
And how we perceive the world and what we can motivate other people with.
So would you say it's more like providing some sort of psychological or mental relief for the watcher or viewer, and also kind of motivating the people that look at your artwork to maybe become creative themselves, or like look at life differently? Or
I think everyone is creative, It's just that the people just never discovered it for themselves, possibly, or they're reluctant to do so because they see what the artist is doing, and it's like kind of a Rubik's cube for them. I don't know how that works, but it fascinates me, but I could never do it. That's kind of the old. So I had this opinion many years ago that okay, there is such a thing as talent, and I hear people saying like, no, I can't do that. But now I really challenge everyone that you can do it, and it's just about, like, to me, just repetition of one thing, and so if you draw something 100 times, it will be better.
For sure.
First one. So everyone can be good at it, and there's a distinction between a craft, which is drawing something 100 times, and then being creative and coming up with like conceptual storytelling and all this. But again, that can be learned, and I think everyone has that. It's just maybe some have it like more because the environment they grew up in provided more of that they can develop in that direction, and others they just couldn't. And but anyway, we can provide inspiration, motivation for these people to just enjoy it. They don't have to be, they don't have to become an artist, sure.
That's
they
right,
don't have to, but it's essential that these people are around, and definitely also provide the mirror for societies that exist right now.
Yeah, I agree. I think like the thing with like talent or not talent, I totally agree that you can learn everything. It's not like a God-given thing that just drops onto you and you're like, I can draw everything.
But people like
now.
to view
people
it
like
this
to view
because
it like that,
it's easier because you get out of it like, wow, I could never do this.
Yeah.
And then,
but
so
also,
they never really try.
Yeah, that's true. But also I think there's like another side to it, because there are things that one like enjoys more than other things. I mean, for me, to pick like the basic artist example, I don't like math, I'm not good at it, but I'm sure I could do it if I put my head into it and like really learned it and studied it. I could be good at math at some point, but it's just not like a desire that I have, and that's kind of the thing that I look at a mathematician and I'm like, damn, I could never do that, in the sense that I could never maybe put my mind to that for that long. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that might be the thing with people saying that you're like, ooh, wow, what you do is so special and stuff, that they're just like, I could never maybe just. But yeah, most people, or like some people, don't realize it, that it actually takes a lot of practice to become where you are.
Well, since you mentioned mathematics, is art anything else than mathematics?
Is
like
it?
art has like kind of a special place compared to all the other occupations you can have, or philosophy, same kind of same corner. Most artists are also very much into philosophy, but is it more worth than the guy that does for 30 years like take out collects the garbage, and that's what he did all his life, and it's good that he does that because otherwise he would drown in garbage.
Right.
So it's great that these people are around.
For sure.
And part of it, and without them we wouldn't be able to have a position in society.
Yep.
So is art above that or below? I don't know if that even needs to be determined, but I often think about that.
I think I mean, I would not pass a judgment on that either, if it's below or above anything, but I think that art has like a certain like speciality about it, because literally everyone can do it at every moment, but you can still work on it for like an infinite amount of time and never reach like the end goal, basically. I don't know if there's like an end goal in math, but I feel like at a certain point you kind of know all the formulas that are known right now.
Yes,
but
that's
with
it.
Art, it's
right
like
now.
So infinite.
I mean, so is the universe.
For sure. Oh wow. Okay. Are we going there?
So I think we like to think that it's kind of compromised or like figured out, and where do we go in the future. But then again, 100 years from now, it's like you can't imagine what how this will unfold.
For sure.
So.
Yeah, I mean, that got really deep, but I really enjoyed it.
Yes, 50 minutes is not enough for.
It's not
today.
enough, no, but we will philosophize like a lot more, I feel like.
I would love to.
So yeah, cool. Well, that's actually it for this post. Sorry I didn't give you another warning, but I'm sure you did great. Thank you so much, Henrik, for talking to me.
Thanks for having me.
Cool.